Hello everyone, and welcome back to As the Rooster Crows. I'm going to do my second attempt here at making flatbread. My mom used to make flatbread when I was a kid, and I loved it, and it has been, I couldn't tell you how many years since I had it. And so the other day I tried to make flatbread and I totally failed. I mean, it tasted good, but that's far from flatbread. It ended up being about 1.5 inches thick, and that's just not how it's supposed to turn out. I think what my biggest problem was, first of all, I used bread flour, which has more of a rise to it than all-purpose. And then I used my other bread recipe, which called for 2 tablespoons of yeast. And since I'm using a bread machine instant yeast, that even has more rise to it, a faster rise. So what I'm going to change it out to now is I'm just going to do 2 teaspoons of the instant yeast. If you're going to use just active dry, do the usual 2 1/4, because that doesn't rise so fast. And I'm just going to dissolve this in 1 cup of lukewarm water, which is right around 110 degrees. Right now I'm just going to let this sit for a few minutes. Instant yeast doesn't have to proof, but I still want it to get all dissolved in here, and then we'll start adding other stuff to it. Well, we seem to be off to a promising start. When I did that last time, by this amount of time, letting it sit for 5 minutes or so, it was all puffy and foamy, which is exciting if you're making regular bread, but now I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of sugar, 1 teaspoon of salt, this recipe calls for 2 tablespoons of olive oil, and to this we're going to add 2 cups of all-purpose flour. Now we're just going to cover this and let that sit for about 35 minutes so it can rise. Well, that's what a Minnesota spring day looks like with 0% chance of precipitation. While the bread is rising, I'm going to go ahead and grease my cookie sheet. Last time I did it, this is the biggest size cookie sheet we've got here at this place. It's not one of those bigger ones. And when my mom talked about it, she said that when you're putting the dough in, she said you're going to have to push it in. She goes, if you can't get it to cover the whole entire cookie sheet, you have to wait and let it rise a little bit because the gluten will not let you stretch it. You have to wait for it to rise so like it gets bigger and you can push it. Well, when I put it in the cookie sheet, it just filled the whole thing. You know, I'm trying to push it down with my hand, and it was like I knew it was going to be a disaster before I put it in the oven. So this batch here, though, only uses 2 cups of flour. The other one had 3, and yeah. So hopefully this will go a little bit better, or if not, I'm going to take some of the dough out. I just want to make flatbread. Well, I actually let that rise for about 45 minutes. Definitely rose a lot slower than that last batch did. And now I'm just going to knead this just for a minute, not much at all. I'm going to go ahead and turn on the oven. Preheat that to 350. Let's see what kind of luck we have with this one. I can see what my mom means. You can't stretch it, it just breaks. So now I'm going to have to let this set for a couple minutes to rise a little bit so I can push it a little bit farther. Almost there. If I let it sit about 5 more minutes, I think she'll stretch the whole way. There we go. I filled the pan. Now I'm supposed to let this rest for just a couple of minutes and then we'll pop it in the oven. Alright, I'm going to pop it in now, and my mom said cook it until the bread, you can lift it up off of the pan so it'll kind of separate from the pan. I actually left that in there for about 20 minutes, so I was waiting for the top to get darker. I'll have to ask my mom what temperature she would bake it at. I did it at 350. Then we'll just have to see. But now I'll just let this cool for a little bit and I can cut it and see how it is. It's very good. It could be a little thinner when my mom would make it. Parts would be like this, and parts would even be thinner, so it would be crunchy. So this is my first attempt, but this is good flatbread. It was my second attempt, but my first attempt it worked. Very good. Now I'm going to turn around and put it back in the oven for another 10 minutes and see what happens. It's a little bit closer. I just texted my mom and said I need help. This is pretty good. I mean, it tastes really good, but it's still not my mom's flatbread. I'll see what she texts back. Okay, everyone. Well, thanks a lot for watching. It's a couple days later. My mom did text me back, and she really didn't give me a whole lot of good advice. It's like I'm doing it right, but I'm just not doing it right. So I guess I'll just have to figure it out. Don't forget to comment and subscribe. And like I said, it's awesome flatbread. If you haven't had my mom's flatbread, it's good flatbread. It's just not my mom, so we'll definitely be trying this again. I'll see you guys on the next video.